Good morning, Danny. And I'm going to have to remember to not check my messages when I'm doing live because they show up on the screen when I'm doing that. So, good morning, everybody. I am Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan, and welcome to the Biker Devotional. So, yeah, always have an opportunity to learn stuff, don't we, guys? And I was looking at that and I'm going, hey, wait, I just showed everybody my text message. Well, it was going to show up anyway because it pops up on the top. So when I go live and somebody text messages me, that's just going to happen when I'm in that beginning part. I don't have a way around that right now, but it happens. So the reality is most of the time not a problem, but I will be much more careful about not checking those things next time while I'm waiting. So today is July 22nd, 2023, and we are wrapping up this week in the Celebrate Recovery world with a contemplation of what the summit looked like. So many people participated in the summit virtually online. Many people were out in California at Saddleback for the summit out there. I'm hearing great things about what happened out there, and as with when it's that big. But the reality is you're not there to judge how other people do their job. You're there to be fed. Whether it's online or not. So that's something to think about. Also, something to think about when you go to your own church, because if you're showing up to church and you're there to judge and condemn and to determine how things should be done, you're probably there for the wrong reasons. You need to show up, prayed up, ready to hear what God has to say through everyone, including your pastor, and ready to serve. That's the important part. That has nothing to do with anything I'm going to talk about today, but it was on my heart, so I shared it. So today, we're going to be looking at Proverbs, yes, you guessed it, 22, because it is July 22nd. And I want to read for you, more than one verse. But we're going to start here. In verse 20, Solomon says this: "Haven't I written for you 30 sayings about counsel and knowledge?" Now, some translations say 3 sayings. Some translations say many things. Some translations say 60. 30 sayings. I don't care how you translate that word at this point. What Solomon's saying is, I've written you a whole bunch of stuff about counsel and knowledge. I've given it all to you. And the first thing I want to point out to you is it's all singular in its purpose. Counsel and knowledge. It's also all has bullet point information. Do this because of this. But it's greater than all of that. Solomon says, I've given you all of this information so that you'll use it all together. If you just take piece here and a piece there and a piece there and a piece there, you're going to do better. But if you use it all together, life becomes so much more meaningful. And so this morning, as I was reading through, I was actually sharing with a brother, and we were talking about looking at verse 10. And verse 10 says, "Drive out a mocker and conflict goes too, then quarreling and dishonor will cease." Or some translations say a scoffer. It's someone who always has the jab, always is critical about what's going on, right? And Solomon says, drive that person out, because all you're going to see around you is quarreling and dishonor. But if you drive them out, if you make it so they aren't around anymore, a lot of that will go away. And I've seen that in my church. I've seen it in other churches where someone who has been like that has walked away, whether because they've been asked for all the right reasons in the right ways, or because they weren't able to have the influence they thought they were going to be able to have, and so they move on. But here's an example of why we need to look at the whole of the wisdom of Solomon. Verse 10 says, drive out a mocker and conflict goes too, then quarreling and dishonor cease. But if we flip over to 24 and 25, we read this. Don't make friends with an angry man, and don't be a companion of a hot-tempered man, or you will learn his ways and entangle yourselves in a snare. See, it's more than just stopping all that conflict that is going on around you. That person who is doing that, they're angry, they're hot-tempered, they want their own way, they have their own agenda. And if you let them stick around, not only will you have to deal with all the stuff around you, but it's going to change you as well. Change your environment in every way, the people around you and you yourself. This is why I go through Proverbs every day, because there is no way I can get all of it encapsulated into me. I've been doing this for years, and it's still building inside of me. Danny says the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and that is exactly it. When we take all of what God has for us. Now, I'm focusing on Proverbs with you guys in the mornings, but the reality is it's not just Proverbs. This is all wisdom. It all goes together, and it's all your relationship with Jesus Christ, and we need to bring it all together. It's not just picking one book that you really love and reading it and reading it and reading it. That's a good idea, by the way. You can become an expert. God can really drive your ministry because you know one book of the Bible really well. That's fine. But you got to take it as the whole as well. And so you got to know the rest of it. You can study one book, but you got to read and be connected with the entirety of the relationship that this represents. And so this morning, guys, I just want to encourage you of that. It's all there, but you got to take it in. Make it something that is desperately needed in your life. And that comes from a decision. Like trying to be here in the morning. You know, it's not always possible, but you try. YouTube doesn't notify everybody. I've been getting told that a lot lately, and I'm not sure why of that. But if I figure it out, I'll give you a heads up on that. I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. God bless.